spirit of sportsmanship, Nigeria and China agreed to deepen bilateral relations despite the revocation of some oil mining licenses by Nigeria. Violators of COVID-19 travel restriction must return to the nearest public health institution for quarantine or face blacklisting. Plus, Constitution Review public hearing continues across the states. These and many more on Panorama. I am Ifoma Ojinta. Thanks for joining us. President Muhammadu Buhari granted audience to his Ghanaian counterpart, Nana Akufo-Addo. President Akufo-Addo was in Abuja to declare open the extraordinary session of the ECOWAS Parliament as chairman of the sub-regional organization. President Buhari and the Ghanaian leader held talks behind closed doors that lasted about 1 hour, but details of their discussions were not made public. Foreign Affairs Minister Geoffrey Onyama, however, told newsmen that the political developments in the Republic of Mali is an issue of concern to the West African leaders.
The President of Ghana is the current chair of the ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government. He's engaging. So we will see in the next few days, what the leaders, this particular pushists, what they want exactly, and how ready to cooperate they are. And it's only at that point or after then that we will now explore all the options that are available.
Minister used the opportunity to confirm that a high-powered team led by the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment is heading to Ghana next week for talks on the concerns of Nigerian traders in that country.
Forward a solution that will be acceptable to the Nigerian traders and to the Ghanaian traders to solve the issue in the framework of ECOWAS. To have these traders able to ply their trade in whatever country, because ECOWAS does allow the free movement of peoples and goods and services, So the idea is to come to an agreement that will be acceptable to all sides.
In the meantime, Chinese ambassador to Nigeria and Minister of State's Petroleum Resources, Timipre Silva, have called for the deepening of bilateral relations between the two countries. They both agreed on sustainability of the excellent relations existing between the two countries. A statement by the Group General Manager and Special Assistant Media to the Minister of State's Petroleum, Garba Din Mohammed, quotes the ambassador and minister agreeing that the recent revocation of some oil mining licenses held by others, a Chinese-owned company, was purely a commercial decision that must not be allowed to impact the excellent relationship between the two countries, while reiterating that the relationship is intact. The interface, which held at the minister's office at the NNPC Towers in Abuja, ended with the Chinese ambassador extending an invitation to the Nigerian Minister of State's Petroleum Resources to visit China. Silva accepted the invitation and promised to pay a visit to China later in the year. Ahmed says all recovered assets are in the custody of the agencies that effected the recovery, while recovered funds are lodged into forfeiture accounts with the Central Bank of Nigeria. The minister gave the insight during an appearance before the House of Representatives Ad Hoc Committee investigating the management of recovered looted funds and assets. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports. That report is, I'm afraid that report is not ready. We're sorry about that. Now, moving on, Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, is to partner with Ministry of Mines and Steel to develop and market solid minerals under the SEC commodity trading ecosystem. This was a fallout of a courtesy visit by the Director General of SEC, Lamido Yugudu, to the ministry in Abuja. Musa Abubakar reports. Okay, and that report is also not ready. Sorry about that. Now, the federal government has listed another batch of 132 travelers as threats to public health after violating Nigeria's COVID-19 travel protocols. A statement signed by the Chairman, Presidential Steering Committee on COVID-19 and Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, indicates that all 132 persons of interest are returning Nigerians who evaded the mandatory 7-day quarantine for persons arriving from restricted countries of India, Turkey and Brazil. The PSC chairman says the violators must report to the nearest state's public health department within 48 hours for immediate evaluation and also call the Port Health Services, Federal Ministry of Health, for further directions. The affected persons risk suspension of their passports for 1 year as well as prosecution if they fail to submit themselves to the Port Health authorities. And now back to Elias Tari, the Minister of Finance, Zainab Ahmed, says all recovered assets are in the custody of the agencies that effected the recovery, while recovered funds are lodged into forfeiture accounts with the Central Bank of Nigeria. The minister gave the insight during an appearance before the House of Representatives ad hoc committee investigating the management of recovered looted funds and assets. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports.
The minister, who is making a first appearance before the committee, explained that the status of accounts harboring recovered looted funds are as contained in records submitted to the committee by the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation. She added that amounts were being borrowed from some of the recovery accounts to fund the budget and some exceptional requirements.
So what the Ministry of Finance has been managing is the cash, the liquid funds that come that are recovered in Naira as well as in foreign currency. We have had situations where we have had to ask for some exceptional approval to borrow from the funds to be able to meet some exigencies of the day-to-day operations of government. We now look at how to pay back, again, by making provision in the budget for 2022 so that we are able to start paying back these borrowed funds.
The committee frowned at this development, pointing out that only the National Assembly can authorize utilization of funds as provided in the Constitution. The committee mandated the minister to set up a technical team which will work with the committee in the ongoing investigation. In its quest for additional information after explanation from the Accountant General of the Federation, Ahmed Idris, on the various transactions in the recovery accounts, the committee has invited the Central Bank Governor, Godwin Emefiele, to appear with details of all recovery accounts. In another development, House Committee on Environment has held a public hearing on tree bills which seek to tackle environmental hazards being experienced in the country.
They are very important to the development and growth of our environment. We will also take cognizance of global and national realities and come out with a report that is fixable and factual.
The bills are on the Great Green Wall, Regulation of Forestry and Environment Trust Fund. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
7 Nupe-speaking local government areas in Niger State, alongside their counterparts in Kogi and Kwara, have made a robust presentation on the creation of Edo State at the ongoing public hearing organized by the 9th Senate. Abubakar Wowo reports that critical stakeholders in the zone also presented memoranda on the alteration of the constitution to tackle insecurity and socio-economic emancipation of the country.
inspired by the strong resolve of the National Assembly to review the provisions of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to meet the yearnings and aspirations of the populace, encouraged the desire of the people of Nupe-speaking areas in North Central Zone to aspire for their own state. Convinced by the verifiable strong economic potentials of the proposed Edo state, which include the ongoing oil and gas exploration and construction of the biggest inland ports in Baro by the federal government, among others.
This memo has been signed by the royal fathers, signed by the elected representatives in the Senate, in the House of Representatives, in the State House of Assembly, as chairman of local governments.
We submitted the memorandum on behalf of the Solomon community on the correct name of the headquarters of Ekiti local government area of Kwara State in furtherance of what we think will engender good governance in the administration of that local government.
Our case, it all boiled down to issue of the FCT indigenous natives render stateless.
Esunupi and Chairman, Niger State Council of Traditional Rulers, Alhaji Yahya Abubakar, also advocates a place for traditional rulers in the proposed constitution.
So many people have been complaining or doubting or confused on what actually role they want traditional role to play now. Some even feel that, especially some politicians, they feel that the institution want to usurp their roles, which is not.
After the presentation of dozens of memoranda, the chairman subcommittee Constitutional Review North Central Mina Center, Senator Aliyu Sabi Abdullahi, adjourned sitting earlier scheduled for 2 days. Sinedai in Mina, Mukhtar Abubakar, NTA News.
Meanwhile, a total of 48 submissions were made by different interest groups at the end of the 1999 Constitution Review public hearing for Imo and Abia states held in Owerri. Beatrice Anyam reports that the Senate Chief Whip, Senator Orji Uzor Kalu, chaired the session.
For participants at the 1999 Constitution Review public hearing for Abia and Imo states held in Owerri, it was a 2-day event that afforded them the opportunity to make inputs in the effort to address lapses in the nation's constitution. They took time to analyze their concerns, some of which include gender equity, free education and community policing. The Ohaneze Ndigbo, represented by the President General, Professor George Obiozor, stood out with their submission on the need for equity and fairness, decentralization and devolution of powers.
It will require a structured Nigeria to contain the present forces and tendencies towards a synchronized national crisis.
We can have a reversal or conversion of the 6 geopolitical zones that we have now in Nigeria to 6 regional governments.
Nigerian women, we are ready to work hand in hand with men, and we are saying this is the right time to achieve it.
The chairman of the session and the Senate Chief Whip, Senator Orji Uzor Kalu, says the submissions will be conveyed to the National Assembly for further deliberations.
We have collected what we're supposed to collect, and we are taking them back home to start work on the amendments.
We would have this constitution amended for the good of it. It may not be everything that we have asked for.
In Owerri, Beatrice Anyam, NTA News.
And electoral reforms, security, gender equity, autonomy of all arms of government in the real sense formed parts of submissions from various states and groups at the South Zonal public hearing on the review of the 1999 Constitution held in Port Harcourt. Ijoma Ugweke reports.
The Constitution Review under the chairmanship of Senator Betty Apiafi was declared open by the Deputy Governor of Rivers State, Dr. Epalibo Harry Banigo. It provided an opportunity for stakeholders to make their contributions on some challenges hindering the peaceful coexistence in the country. Submissions from various interest groups such as Nigerian Labour Congress, religious groups and representatives of various states of the South presented their position on state police, independence of all tiers of government, labor wages, revenue sharing and electoral reforms, including tenure of political office holders and party defection.
So we believe labor issues, especially the minimum wage and other issues of welfare, must retain in the exclusive list so that workers are protected by the laws.
Other submissions were reviewed on gender parity and opportunity for education to be made free for women and the vulnerable.
Today we are here to raise our voices that we are ready.
Amendment permitting that the Supreme Court be decentralized, establishment of ecclesiastical courts and court of appeal in each state to reduce delay of justice.
The mission is that the Nigerian Constitution should be well amended to accommodate the establishment of Christian judicial system and give us our own ecclesiastical court of justice.
The 2-day constitution review was applauded as a feat that will enhance development and promote peace in the country. In Port Harcourt, Ijomu Gweke, NTA News.
Still on constitution review, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has reiterated the call for a special economic status for Lagos, insisting that the progress of Nigeria is unavoidably linked to the prosperity of the state. The governor said this while declaring open a 2-day zonal public hearing on constitutional review in Lagos. Musa
offers an opportunity for him to restate the priority of Lagos State, which include the need for state police and the entrenchment of true fiscal federalism in Nigeria. He called on Nigerians within the zone covered by the Senate Committee on Constitutional Amendment to embrace the opportunity of the zonal hearing so that their voices and opinions will count in the amended constitution that will emerge.
Considering our place in national economy and the special burden we bear by virtue of our large population and the very limited landmass that we have. A special status for Lagos State, therefore, must be a concern not only for the people of Lagos State alone, but for the entire Nigerian nation.
Deputy Senate President and Chairman Senate Committee on Constitutional Review, who was represented by Senator representing Lagos Central, Oluremi Tinubu, said the Constitution needs a review to address current issues in the country.
We have a compelling duty to carefully address every challenge to this nation, and there is no better way to do it than through this Constitution.
Submissions made by other participants cut across the creation of new states and local governments, gender consideration, and drafting of an entirely new constitution.
Order of the state to be as follows: that Ekpado North there should be written as Yewa North, and Ekpado South there should be written as Yewa South.
We ask for twinning in government. If we have a speaker who is a man, the deputy should be a woman.
The House of Representatives will hold similar public hearing on constitutional review next month. In Lagos, Musa Tolia, NTA News.
In the meantime, a 2-day public hearing by the Senate Committee on the review of the 1999 Constitution has ended in Akure, with stakeholders advocating amendment to grey areas to meet the demands and expectations of Nigerians. Some of the participants at the hearing were of the view that the nation will be on the path of true federalism if the numerous inputs form part of the amendment. Abiola Ario reports.
The inadequacies identified in Nigeria's 1999 Constitution are said to be among the major factors slowing down the country's pace of development. This is what the 2-day public hearing by the Senate Committee on the 1999 Constitution Review seeks to address by harmonizing stakeholders' contributions to meet contemporary democratic system of government.
The good governance going to elude the masses when government is far away from them. The federal and the states, they are too far away from the grassroots, and local governments are the answer.
As a way of restructuring, mine may not really be a true federalism kind of thing. But what I recommend is that with the creation of more states and local governments, with the passage of the Petroleum Industry Bill, with the abrogation of open grazing and some of those things, that the zones will be more consolidated and it will enhance service delivery.
But when you have more women in parliament, there will be life. A lot of development issues will be given the kind of life that it requires.
We have come here to collate your opinions, and be rest assured we will do a non-partisan report on those opinions.
Participants were drawn from Ekiti, Osun, and the host, Ondo State. In Akure, Abiola Rio, NTA News.
Let's take a break now. Panorama continues in a moment. Please stay.
The struggle for independence had been a long and tough one. Our founding fathers and compatriots sacrificed their comfort and even shed their blood. We cannot at this point in history afford to spirit away their sacrifices for immediate but temporary gains of today. Let us emphasize what unites and not what divides us. Working for the unity of purpose with a stronger vision for a better tomorrow. NTA, growing with the nation.
Together, no matter where you come from, no matter your religion, we are one. Let's live together. Let's stop fighting each other. Let us live as one. It doesn't matter where you come from, your tribe or religion, man, woman or child. It doesn't matter who you are. Put Nigeria first. No matter where you come from, no matter your religion, we are one. Let's live together.
How can we develop when we're always in crisis? Families have become refugees in their country. No matter our differences, show some understanding.
No matter where you come from, no matter your religion, we are one. Let's live together.
The counsel of our fathers.
I will urge and advise our younger generation to use talent and brain to sort out problems, not arms.
Nigerian youths, let's build our nation.
My advice to these young people is please do not take us back to those harrowing days. You probably do not know what it is.
I believe we have fought one civil war too many in this country. So those who experience it will run away from it.
Nigerian youths, let's build our nation together.
Thanks for staying tuned. Now, degradation of the River Niger and its effects on livelihoods along its banks across 9 African countries are major concern as the Council of Ministers of Niger Basin Authority (NBA) holds session in Abuja. Musbah Wahab reports that the session is preparatory to the 12th summit of heads of state and government of the NBA holding on Saturday here in Abuja.
Contraction of Lake Chad, disturbing as it is, there is a greater water management and associated ecosystem challenge in part of Africa. River Niger is also facing degradation. Along its riparian countries of Benin, Burkina Faso, Cameroon, Chad, Cote d'Ivoire, Guinea, Mali, Niger and Nigeria, the livelihood of about 160 million people is threatened. Fishes and wildlife animals are disappearing, while the riverbed has been reduced to this tiny stream in some areas.
It appears that River Niger is also going the same way, unfortunately. And it's quite a wake-up call for us that we have a lot in our hands.
This is a major issue for the Ministers' Council. Implementation of other programs, including the Integrated Development and Adaptation Climate Change, also requires attention.
This is why NBA member countries must speed up the implementation of both the Climate Resilience Investment Plan (CRIP) and the Operational Plan (OP) in order for populations and communities to feel the impact of NBA.
The Technical Committee of Experts also presented recommendations of its meeting preceding this session on roadmap and construction of the authorities' headquarters in Niger, as well as the financial commitments of member countries. The Council of Ministers is expected to escalate these issues to the 12th summit of heads of state and governments of the NBA holding on Saturday. In Abuja, Musbah and Wahab, NTA News.
The establishment of
You can get more news and updates on www.nta.ng or follow us on our Twitter handle at NTA News Now. You can also like us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/NTA Network News, and also stay connected and subscribe to our YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/NTA News Online. Also remember to watch our news live streaming at www.nta.ng/live.
And that concludes Panorama for today. We thank you for watching. Do remember